freedom,
family,
world unity,
all these things and more will be discussed on this podcast.
real stories, real people, real debates. On this podcast, we like to express our freedoms and talk about anything and everything goes.
Like freedom, family is important to us, and anybody that is listening, watching, or coming on the show as a guest star are all considered part of the greatest family to ever bless the solar system, the human race. No matter who you are, where you come from, you will always have a voice here on this podcast.
We like to flex our First Amendment, where all speeches and opinions are accepted for the right of freedom of speech. We have a saying we like to live by. Live life with eyes wide open. Being open-minded leads to true understanding of the world as it really is. Please, come, join us, and enjoy this experience as we embark on this journey of truth as we dismantle the subjective truth. I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm your co-host, Victoria.
And you're experiencing High Consciousness.
Disclaimer. Any and all information on topics presented to the best of all who is present in each episode's knowledge. The goal of this podcast is to bring people together and set the example we all wish to see in our everyday lives. Whether it's home life, education, politics, history, business, etc. Any and all subjects can and will be talked and peacefully debated about on this podcast. On debate episodes, there will be a set rules of debate that hosts and guests alike must follow. We ask that you, the audience, like we ask of our guests, in the comments to please try to keep the language as clean as possible. We are a podcast for entertainment as well as educational purposes. Here we are all equal no matter what race, age, or gender. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Hi, y'all,
And welcome back
to another episode of
High Consciousness.
I'm your host, Nick.
And I'm your co-host, Victoria.
And we
are
are
High Consciousness.
Welcome back, folks. So today we're not going to really do any of our typical reading today. It's actually going to be a very special 5-10 minute.
Yeah, apparently your stomach's got something to say too.
Apparently so. We want to say hi. I'm High Consciousness too. But today we're going to be talking about our pirate flag.
Yep, and what it means. I've gotten a lot of questions, especially from the elder folk, about why do we have a pirate flag in the back of our background? Well, for one thing, you can also see the straw hat up there, because we are we're Straw Hats from the anime One Piece. We love the Straw Hat Pirates, which are our main characters in the whole thing. And to us, what being a pirate means, just like what it means for Luffy, is who's the one that wears the straw hat.
It's about being free.
Yes.
It's about being free altogether from authority, totalitarianism, against any kind of governments.
And oppression.
Against oppression, too. Because if you actually date back piracy, it started in 1670 and went all the way up to 1730. It was like the last stages of the golden age piracy. And funny thing is that 46 years later, here comes the Revolutionary War in America fighting for freedom.
And what's even funnier is that it was the English and the Spanish navies, as we learned in one of our last previous episodes. It was because of those royalties over those navies, they created the pirates in general. The Spanish created a secret little pirate sect of their navy to invade the English ships, and the English, Queen Elizabeth herself, not the one that just died, but Queen Elizabeth I, she had done the same with her own English navy, which is where our two pirates from the One Piece anime comes from.
Yep, and that'd be Drake and Hawkins.
Yep, Basil Hawkins and Francis Drake.
And the thing about it makes this all more interesting is like after, the war between Spain and Britain, and there was no more piracy that needed to be done. She disbanded those captains and made them outlaws or mercenaries.
Yep.
And that's when the Royal Captain Guards, which is Francis and Hawkins, became actual lifelong pirates. And that's what started the whole trend of freedom from the oppressed.
And we have North Carolina's own famous Edward Teach, which was
the most feared,
as we all know, as Blackbeard. And he is also featured in the One Piece anime as well. And he's kind of like one of the biggest big bads in the entire thing. Like, you think Kaido and Big Mom are a problem? Nah, Blackbeard is a problem.
Well, also Blackbeard was also featured in Black Sails, and it's just, if you just look into our pirate culture, we have a lot of shows that have been coming out lately. One Piece is one, that's the one that main going, but we had the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yep.
Then we had Treasure Island. Then we had
well, I guess we include anime in there too. One Piece. One Piece, Treasure Island, Black Sails, Pirates of the Caribbean.
And there's another show that had pirates into it, but it's like, the whole aspect of it. Like, yes, pirates are bad and evil, but that's just the course of how freedom works. They had the choice of being modest and humble pirates and just going in and taking over, but also providing for the people too where they were staying at. The reason why for the Caribbean ports and what's the word? What's that place called?
Tortuga?
Yeah, Tortuga. Because Tortuga actually was a real place.
Yep.
So, that's the kind of thing I'm trying to... All of what we're trying to get at is that...
To us, the pirate flag, it means freedom to be your own person, fight for what you believe in, stand up for what you believe in, no matter what anybody says, standing against oppression, and just being able to do what you want within, a moral compass, at least.
Well,
history, likes to portray pirates as, vicious, vandalizing, raiding, pillaging, killing machines, but not all of them were like that, which is why, again, history is written as his story. It's always written in the eyes of the victor. So, if you look at it from one perspective, you see pirates as a good thing, and they represent, the freedom, loyalty, friendship, and unity, just like what we represent. And then there's the other half where it represents, murder, pillaging, raiding, and then the other R word, the R-A-P-E word.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's just how freedom, that's how extreme freedom goes to that extent, because once again, it goes by free will. Because everybody Morris compass is different.
Mm-hmm.
So
now ours is on the right side, where, we're good people, we help people out, people that we see that are in need, we do what we can for them. When people ask us for help, we do anything and everything that we can. We absolutely believe in the Constitution, which is the physical embodiment of freedom, and the embodiment of the God-given rights that we've all been given to be a free-range human, to be able to own land and, grow our own food and believe in what we want to believe in, and be able to freely worship and, practice that walk of faith, or that that spiritual life path, stuff like that.
So, yeah. So that's basically what this episode is. It's gonna be a real short one, but that's what it means for us. What the pirate flag means to us, it was and the piracy golden age was pretty much, as we interpret it, as the foundations of how the ideology of freedom began.
Mm-hmm. Which, if you really kind of think about it, with Mr. Edward Teach and a whole bunch of other pirates having settled along the 13 colonies, and then we have our forefathers, well, they had to get their ideals of freedom from somewhere. And who's to say that a bunch of people that ran away from, Catholic England at the time in order to, freely be able to express their version of faith, the Protestants, who were basically the outlaws. We had a bunch of outlaws with outlaws. So, the ideals of freedom had to come from somewhere, and we have a theory that it may or may not have come from pirates, and the ones that actually represented the good parts of humanity, and not the other half.
Yeah. So, with that, we're going to end the episode now, and we're going to end the episode. Well, do you got any more closing comments over here?
The only closing comment that I got is hit that like and subscribe button, so that way, you push us through the algorithm with that like button, and then subscribe, so that way you are always updated on whenever we release a new video. And always remember to
live life with eyes wide open,
y'all. And we'll see y'all on the next one. Thursday's episode, America, A Narrative History 2.6. Or actually, no, not 2.6, because we already hit 2.5. So actually, we're starting into a new chapter. Segment 3. And moving on with the foundations of Plymouth, which I guess...
It's the New England colony is what we're going to be going in.
Yep.
But with that...
And who knows? Maybe some pirates will show up. But anyway, with that, we're out. See y'all in the next one.